And there's the episode intro. Yeah.
Warning, this podcast contains violence, sexuality, gore, and other horrible and disturbing things. Listener discretion is advised. Also, the hosts of this venture are ignorant dipshits, so please do not take anything they say as fact. And enjoy the show.
Now, are you sitting comfortably? Good. Then we'll begin.
Today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be.
It is our basic human right to be forgotten.
A second plane now has crashed into the other tower of the World Trade Center.
Putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
The defendant shall be incarcerated for the rest of her natural life with no possibility of parole.
You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men.
We were somewhere around Barstow, on the edge of the desert, when the drugs began to take hold.
Occultae Veritatis.
Hey, welcome to part 3 of the Onision story. Just putting my disclaimers in again. Once again, the people that tell this story are inconsistent and frequently dishonest, so the timeline is fuzzy. This is just my best interpretation of how things happened. And no charges have been laid as of yet. These two people are still innocent until proven guilty, so all the stuff I'm about to say is simply speculation. A very opinionated speculation, but speculation nonetheless. So enjoy the last part of the Onion Boy story. And if you head over to our Patreon for as little as $1 a month, before the end of the month I'm going to put up a little bonus episode going through some of the interviews Onision has done to defend himself. Kind of a step-by-step look at how he seems to justify this to himself and how he answers tough questions. Yeah, so that's going to be up on the Patreon. www.patreon.com/ovpod. And of course, since we're in the midst of the COVID-19 crisis, we're going to put a bunch of fun stuff up on there to entertain the people that need it. Enjoy part 3.
What's up? Got a question for Antio. You guys promised people a lot. First of all, you assumed guilty till proven innocent, not innocent till proven guilty. In fact, I'm not even sure you would accept it if I was proven innocent. I believe I have been, but I don't think you guys are paying attention to like the 3 hours of video I made just talking about everything that went down, the other 3-hour interview I did with Keemstar. The other interview I did with Keemstar was 40 minutes too. You guys don't seem to want to pay attention to anything, but I got a question for you. Where's the FBI investigation? Because you said that was a thing, yet I haven't heard from the FBI. You think the first thing they would do is like raid a person's house to get all their hard drives and stuff? Never happened. They never even questioned me, never called me, never reached out, nothing. And they would have done that by now. They would have done it like almost instantaneously, because when you have credible evidence that somebody is doing something extremely illegal on their computer, you obtain the evidence before they can get rid of it. Common sense. You guys promised jail time. What's up? Where is that? You guys keep talking about jail time. So where is it? Still nothing. You guys promised a Chris Hansen interview. You said Chris Hansen would sit down with me. You were afraid that I would pussy out, right? Turns out Chris Hansen pussied out. He finally got his opportunity to do it live. And he said no, that he wanted to do it recorded instead. And I said, all right, you record it. I'll live stream it so people can see the version that's not edited. It's like Hansen's been saying his dong is 10 inches this whole time. My dong's big, my dong's big, my dong's big. And then I'm like, okay, prove it. He's like, let me Photoshop it first. No, that's not how it works, dude. Almost every single reporter and journalist who's legitimate does interviews live. CNN, Fox News, NBC, whatever. All of them. They interview people live constantly. So don't play that I'm a professional crap. You're not. You're a YouTuber just like everyone else. You're a has-been. You used to be big, and then your career failed because somebody ended their own life because you showed up to their house. That's what the news says. You said a crime existed. Where's the crime? Blair White, Repsian, Repzilla, even Edwin's generation, Chris Hansen, all these people have conned you. They've tricked you to get video views. They made promises. They said things were going to happen. Nothing happened. They cried that the sky was falling. Turns out everything was fine. So I think it's time to hold Antio accountable and ask him the questions. Say, why did you try to destroy someone's life when they did nothing wrong?
Yeah, June 2013, Kai announces he is pregnant with Greg's child. 2014, Greg's first child is born. Greg posts videos describing Siesca, his cult, his ideas. So this is when he kind of brings Siesca public, and he describes, like, this is a religion that I once subscribed to, that I created. Here are its basics. He starts several controversies. So while all this child grooming and abuse is going on, he's still being like a massive dipshit on YouTube and on social media. So, and you see that he forms obsessions about certain people. This doesn't just count his romantic relationships. This includes other people. He seems to have some kind of entitlement over other people's lives. One example is a YouTuber who was dating someone Onision considered to be a cheater or of low morals. This YouTuber person didn't want to be named, but he basically berated her several times and made videos sending his community after her because she wasn't dating who he thought she should date. There's Jacqueline Glenn, who's a YouTuber. He had just this massive obsession with her tits for the longest time because he put out this video that says that I find small chests attractive in response to the announcement that she's getting like a breast augmentation.
Oh.
Yeah, like she wants to get like a breast augmentation.
Yeah.
And he starts slowly by saying, I like small tits on women and natural tits on women. And when she didn't respond to that, he started getting more and more obvious until eventually he was saying, like, in public on his YouTube channel, you're ruining your body. I don't like it. You shouldn't do this.
Oh my God. She's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Jacqueline Glenn, I was associates with her, friends, whatever you want to call it. I don't know what we were, but we worked in videos together and we got along rather well. And she just released a video April 20th. Wow, April 20th. Wow. Okay, so she released a video saying that she's getting a boob job. And this is crazy. I guess the boob job's already done. But my concern here is she's with a guy, right? I assume she's dating Social Repose still. She's with a guy whose last girlfriend have expressed to me personally all the problems with Social Repose. And then you have Social Repose's current girlfriend, apparently current girlfriend, based on everything I know, getting a boob job. And of course the intelligent girlfriend, this person I know is intelligent, is going to deflect, is going to act like it's her own choice. Because obviously she cares about this guy. And she doesn't want to put him in the limelight and make you guys think that he's actually responsible, because she knows that you guys are going to assume he's responsible. But here's the thing. Someone I'm with would never get plastic surgery. I wouldn't let it happen. I would not. And the reason I wouldn't let it happen is because they love themselves, right? Or at least they know that I love them enough. You know? I realize that no matter how much you love some people, that they could still hate themselves. But what's important is that you make it clear to that person that they are good enough, that you care about them, etc. So to see Jacqueline Glenn getting a boob job when she's with Social Repose, that is boyfriend failure. I don't understand it. Like, I would say one of the number one reasons a girl will get a boob job is because she wants to not only impress herself, but someone else implied to her that she needs one, okay? Jacqueline Glenn, even in their video, said that she was responding to comments, you know, where people were saying, oh, you're wearing a push-up bra, creating these insecurities, you know? And if you're with somebody who reinforces you, who makes you feel good, or at least watch my channel where I regularly talk about boob size being so irrelevant. Let me put this in perspective for you guys. They're gonna cut her boob open, stuff up a little sack of something, and then she's gonna carry that extra weight for who knows how long until finally she gets it pulled out. That's a bunch of unnecessary surgery, especially for a person who's perfectly healthy. You know, I texted Jacqueline Glynn, because we occasionally text sometimes, and I said, I'm against boob jobs, but you know, if you want this for yourself, you know, this is something that you want that is not influenced by other people, then that is your right. You have rights to your own body. You should be able to do what you want to your own body. But if this is because of social repose, if this is another result of social repose, again, in his own video, admitting that if the girl's not a perfect weight, she's not good enough, the day after he gets dumped by a girl saying that she wants her next boyfriend to not be abusive and horrible. If this is because of social repose, god damn it, you know? I want you guys to know that boob jobs are horrible. Okay, I think they're tragic. They take a beautiful female form and they make it fake. They make it ugly. And the reason they make it ugly is, like, for instance, real world. We're always real world, but we're even more real world right now. When I am self-gratifying, okay, and I see that someone has fake boobs, I click away. It's gross. It doesn't look natural. It looks gross. It doesn't bounce right. It just is not real, you know? And why would you want a fake person? That's not a turn on, you know? And a guy who wants a fake girl probably isn't a real guy himself. So I don't get why you guys can't just be happy with yourselves. And what that tells me is that you had a dad or a mom who didn't love you enough, or you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend who doesn't love you enough. Because if somebody loves you in the right way and gives you the right daily encouragement, you're gonna feel good about yourself, at least on the level where you won't need to modify yourself, unless of course you have a mental disability. And I don't think Jacqueline Glynn has a mental disability. I think Jacqueline Glynn needs more loving people in her life. You should be able to identify as whatever you want. You should be able to look however you want. And the person you're with should love you just the same.
And he starts to shame her boyfriend, saying like, well, this is obviously her boyfriend's fault, because if she felt secure, she wouldn't feel a need to do this. So he must be abusing her because she feels insecure enough to get a boob job.
That's insane.
Maybe she just wants new tits.
Yeah, or she was doing it for her, and she liked them, and
like, good for her. Maybe she wants to feel firm tits when she masturbates. Like, it has nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with either of them.
I mean, I'm just...
There's a YouTuber named Eugenia Cooney who...
she was very sad. We should do an episode on her.
Oh, yes. She suffered from anorexia, and she had struggled with it for years. And there's certain ways to approach people about these subjects, to hold out a helping hand and help people get the resources they need. There's a way to do that. The way not to do that is to make 60-plus videos over the years. Like, she asked him to stop making videos after he had the 4th video out. And he continued until he made 60 videos about this woman. And he started lecturing her, and when she wouldn't listen to him or wouldn't mention him, he started escalating things. He made a video on his main sketch channel where he parodied her eating program, and he parodied her puking in the toilet and binging and purging and all that, and made her into a character. He put out this social movement. She was a smaller YouTuber than him, and he was saying to his audience, and a lot of his audience intersected with her, similar age groups, and he was saying, stop watching her, cut her off, because if you continue to watch her, you're just encouraging her. So you need to cut her off. You need to stop supporting her, because that's the only way she's going to learn.
I appreciate you wanting to discuss this, and I hope you come to a future debate, but I really don't want to talk about Eugenia Cooney anymore. It's been dead end after dead ends, and it's just too much.
Okay. Does that mean that you are not going to make any future videos, positive or negative, concerning Eugenia?
I'm going to make positive contents about whoever I feel is awesome.
Okay. On February 10th, she said that she was taking a break from social media, voluntarily working on this with her doctor privately, and asked everyone to respect that.
And then she posted a public
Why
picture.
can't you do that? No, she was not the one that posted that picture, and you do not know if that picture was posted with her consent. That is a violation of her privacy that she asked for. Until she comes back onto social media, that stands.
Oh my God. What is the proof that complimenting Eugenia Cooney and her recovery, which is something people with eating disorders typically need based on the research I've done, what is the proof that complimenting her, calling her a hero, calling her inspirational is hurting her?
The fact that she asked you to stop, she asked for privacy in her recovery.
Referencing a totally separate context.
No, I'm not. This is her last tweet on February 10th. And her last tweet says, I'm stopping social media. I'm working on this privately with my doctor. Kindly respect that. You are violating that, sir.
She posted a public picture knowingly.
No, her hairdresser published a picture with or without her consent.
You don't know it was without her consent.
And you don't know it was with.
If somebody said, I'm going to stop doing anything, and they stop doing it, is that not the completion of what they said? It's not a...
No, it's indefinite. If you say that you're going to stop doing something, you do not begin it again. Period.
Not true. If I said
yes, true. It's called proper English. Look up the definition, Greg, of stop.
If someone
Please
says
tell me where. No. Wait. Let me speak.
Stop.
Where in the definition of stop does it say to begin again or until? I will tell you right now that is not a synonym to the word stop.
Stop does not mean forever on any.
But it does. It means stop, completion. Look it up, Greg. You're the big fan of definitions. Please tell me where it says until in the definition.
So when
of stop.
someone stops at a stoplight,
I guess so what? We're not going to address that. We're going to use drumming on stop sign.
I just blew up your argument.
Give me a break. Come on, Greg. You can't use traffic laws as a means to a defense. You just abandoned the argument because you knew you could not win it. Let's be real.
I just can't get over the PTSD that these women have had to suffer through because of this person. Because whenever you're abused in any kind of way, the effects are long lasting way after they're out of the picture. You don't start feeling it until they're gone.
If they ever go, they'll never go away at all.
Honestly,
They're always gonna be
You're always
there.
haunted no matter what, right? Once you've been abused by somebody, you're always haunted. Wow.
Yep. So those are some examples of him feeling entitled over people that he isn't even in a relationship with. And I'm just cherry picking. There's so much shit that I'm not mentioning, but we can't do this all night. Another controversy, he kills his turtle. He gets a Russian tortoise named Reptar. Now, those types of turtles, they have a natural environment that should be around 35 Celsius. What he does is on a hot day, he puts it on the lawn underneath a plastic tub.
Oh God, he's gonna cook it.
From what I could find about that grade of plastic and how the greenhouse effect inside of it acts, it had I checked the weather on that day. So the weather that day was a high of 27 Celsius. And under that tub, after about an hour of time, the temperature in that tub would rise to about 40 Celsius to 50 Celsius. So the turtle dies, and he puts it on his social media. And he says, no, it wasn't the heat that killed the turtle. My loud neighbors gave the turtle a panic attack.
Oh, okay. I just put my turtle in a little sauna, and my disrespectful neighbors were so loud that it just died.
Yeah, and when people said, it can get super hot under plastic tubs in the sun, he was like, no, you dummies. It's a desert tortoise. So it can't cook to death.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, it's from the desert. There's no way that it can. Yeah, no.
So it's one of those I'm as hot as the sun tortoises.
Yeah.
I hate this fucking guy.
If you travel to the center of the earth, you'll find tortoises all throughout there.
And souls,
so
apparently.
whack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So but at this point, do we think that he's dumb enough to think that, or that he's just trying to be manipulative to everyone?
He's trying to be manipulative. He's much smarter than that.
It sucks when you just lost a pet that's really important to you, a pet that you care a lot about, and then people just try to rip you apart
They just try to make you feel like crap, even more so than you already do. But here's what happened. Today, it's a high of 75. I just asked my wife what it was. She told me today's forecast was cloudy with a high of 75. So obviously, if you put a turtle outside, they're not going to get overheated. I put them in an upside-down plastic tub, a very large plastic tub. The tub was probably, 100 times, 300 times, who knows? It was like this big. It's a big tub, okay? Put it over the turtle, and I thought, I should weigh this down so the dogs can't get to the turtle, so they won't attack the turtle or anything like that when we're not looking. I was thinking about the turtle's safety. But I didn't want to cut off the oxygen supply to the turtle. I didn't think that the turtle could breathe all the oxygen in the tub by the time I checked on him. But I still said, I'm not going to weigh this down because I don't want, there to be no way of the turtle escaping or no way of the turtle breathing. And the tub, this very light plastic tub, is on top of grass. So obviously it didn't weigh down the grass so much that no oxygen could enter it. And even if it had, there's no way the turtle could have breathed all the oxygen before I checked on him. Anyway, so I thought it was safe, a high of 75 degrees, and the container's not weighed down so oxygen can get inside and everything. I come back and the turtle's dead. I put him in there, gosh, like 10:30, 10:40, some 10, and I went and checked on him at 12. Yeah, 12:40. So he was in there, 2 hours? And he's dead. It was confusing to me. And I was like, there's no way this turtle died in this weather and because of the conditions, because the conditions were fine. I opened it up. It was the temperature was slightly higher. I noticed that there was a heat difference. But the thing is, 1, it's a desert turtle. And 2, the heat wasn't overwhelming. It's a high of 75, people. So to everybody who's freaking out and saying, I killed the turtle, it's possible. It's possible that it died because of this it was inside this, container for 2 hours, maybe even not even 2 hours. But what somebody I talked to said was maybe it was the screaming and the loud banging, because there was a lot of banging going on outside, a lot of construction and stuff. And it was very noticeable, the sounds, and it was surrounded by light. We're just thinking that maybe the turtle had a panic attack or something. That, or I killed the turtle through ignorance and stupidity. Anyway, the point, I don't know how that's ignorance and stupidity. I mean, I clearly thought this through. It's confusing to me. I asked myself, did they have enough oxygen? Yes. Did they have the right temperature? Yes. Is it under sunlight? Why did I put the turtle out in the first place? So they could get sunlight, so they could be outside, so they could, it was nothing but good intentions. And of course, I'm the worst person in the world now. And of course, I feel like crap for it. I had to bury my turtle today.
I don't think he believes the bullshit he's selling, but he knows it's going to manipulate his 12 to 14-year-old audience.
He believes it. He just lashes out in such a way that the kids are like, oh my God, okay, yeah, you're right. You're big, I'm small,
Or hey, I get angry at stuff and don't know why too. So this is someone we can admire because I have 14-year-old angst. And
fuck everything.
Absolutely.
And he always goes extra, and he always just insists, and he always guilts people. In his, I'll put up a clip here, but in his explanation video for him killing his turtle, he goes right into the I've been a vegan for fucking years, and
but you were cooking tasty turtle meat.
Yeah.
So not only did you kill the turtle, you didn't eat it. Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that wasting part of the animal and not using all of its body respectfully?
Exactly.
You're not going to level up to the next planet if you keep that up,
Absolutely
right?
not.
Nope.
Yeah, the IRS tax evasion. So this is going to be hilarious to anybody that knows anything about taxes. He files his entire house as a business expense. His entire living space.
That's not how you do it.
Yeah. If you run a business out of a part of your house, you can calculate the square footage and come up with
the percentage amount, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he said, okay, I bought a house, I do business there, whole house. He claimed his alimony and the fees he used to have his wedding as business expenses.
Oh, gee.
Because
because weddings are the oldest form of a business interaction.
Yep, here it is. I put Reptar in the plastic tub outside so he could enjoy the sun without dogs begging him. And he went to check on him a few hours later only to find out he died. He's a desert turtle, so it wasn't the heat. He had air. We're just bummed out now.
Yeah, just really bummed out that I murdered my pet.
Oh my god, I hate this motherfucker.
He wrecked a bunch of wetlands. So when he was living in Washington, for those of you who don't know, like the reason that Trump said drain the swamp, he didn't. I'm sure he was accidentally right, but Washington is built on a big swampland. So a lot of parts of Washington are protected swampland. They have species there that might not exist anywhere else, or species that may only exist in certain environments. Onision's backyard, or at least the back part of his backyard, was off limits. They said, okay, that's protected wetland, don't go near it. His neighbors catch him chopping down a few trees and ripping out a few weeds, and they videotape him, and they send that to, like, the wildlife people so that he'll leave it alone.
Cops.
Yeah. The wildlife people come out, they give him a warning. They say, cut this shit out.
Stop
like,
it.
He responds by renting a bulldozer. And bulldozing a bunch of trees and basically pushing a bunch of topsoil. And like something to know about wetlands is it takes a long time for that sediment to build up. And once you scrape off the top layer, you're destroying like a whole like layer of ecosystems of like fungi and bacteria, and you kind of ruin the swamp's ecosystem at that point. And he just bulldozed the whole thing into a big ugly pile of his backyard. And his backyard looked way shittier afterwards, so there wasn't even a reason to do it. But yeah, of course, and this time he videotaped himself doing it and put it up on his channel.
What an idiot.
Like I said, smart people and hubris. It's just...
This guy's real name must be Kyle.
And again, at this time, throughout this whole time, he's sending Sky all these emails. He's sending Alicia all these emails, bribing her to turn on her sister. He's still sending Shiloh emails saying, like, jumping between take me back and I hate you.
Honestly, I'm vibrating at a very low anger rate right now. Like, every time I say this, motherfucker, I really mean that in my soul.
Oh, yeah.
I'm getting
I had to take a break.
Yeah.
A couple more for you.
I honestly feel like I should walk away for a second. Like, I'm getting so...
We're 3/4 done. I'll tell you that. I lived through all this, and I forgot most of the shit he did. Yeah. He's done so much shit that I forgot most of it. Black women's hair. So he had strong opinions about black women's hair in his history.
How the fuck does that affect him?
He puts out a video.
This guy is exactly why I, like the United States government, require 50% non-white blood quantum.
Yeah. He puts out
the end. Minimum 50%.
He puts out a video and he says, I don't know why black people aren't taught how to take care of their hair. Like he says, like, your hair is all frizzy and oily and it's everywhere. How come nobody teaches you how to take care of it?
How come no one never taught this kid to take care of his attitude? Yeah. I'm sorry.
And then he goes like condescendingly, like explaining to black people, like a 5-year-old, how they need to do their hair. Yeah, videos on depression. So depression... Like, according to his belief system, depression is a lack of effort to get over things. So, you can just get over your depression through willpower. Christina Grimmie. Now, I was a fedora-wearing, like, hardcore atheist edgelord when I was in college, too. But this is right from that book. So, YouTube singer Christina Grimmie was murdered at one of her made-ups. Onision takes this opportunity to be an atheist dipshort edgelord, saying, save your prayers for Christina Grimmie, God isn't listening. Which, not the time, dude. Not the time. Yeah. Shane Dawson. He collaborated with him a few times, and when shit started to get toxic and Shane Dawson cut him out of his life, he first started to make fun of Shane Dawson's weight. Then he accused him of being a pedophile. And he went on and on, making all the, and like pulling clips from his podcast out of context. Yeah. I've talked for so many hours on here, I'm sure somebody with malicious intent could make like a mixtape of me saying some horrible shit.
Oh, me too, man.
You've probably just said some horrible shit too.
Yeah.
Hello, Richard. You're quite good at turning me on.
Love it. 2014, now 20-year-old Kai starts talking to 14-year-old Sarah.
Ew, 14.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate this.
20-year-old Kai, 14-year-old Sarah, and now 17-year-old Regina. Regina start a group chat and start exchanging nudes with each other. So they start like a nude exchange group chat with a 20-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 17-year-old. They begin tweeting each other vague, implicative things, such as like adding each other and saying, "I have a meal for you," winky face.
Oh.
Yeah. May 28th, 2015, Kai makes a tweet joking he is grooming now 15-year-old Sarah. So he jokes that, haha, maybe people think I'm grooming you. Like along those lines.
I feel like he's smart, but like you said, that hubris thing, where he's like, I could literally do anything and say anything, and no one's going to do jack shit, because what are they going to do?
Oh, yeah. And the problem is, like, I think Kai is going to be the one that goes to jail because he was involved with exchanging nudes with his victims. And Onision was just so careful that he either never got caught or never engaged in that because he knew there'd be a paper trail.
Yeah, you know, it's like if Onision just shot someone on Fifth Avenue, like they wouldn't even prosecute him.
They'd still make him a president?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And just, like, sometimes the control that Greg enacted over Kai, like, it kind of got out into the public. Like, there was one time when Greg found out that Kai followed a musician on Twitter that had blocked Greg. And he had, like, a public shaming of him, saying, like, how dare you follow this musician? Like, don't you know that he blocked me? Like, that's essentially you teaming against him against me. And, like, just that kind of manipulative bullshit.
Don't you know he blocked me? First off, no. Yeah. Second of all, fuck you.
November 15th, 2015. Kai starts talking to and soon after dating 18-year-old Billy, so of age. Billy. Billy was under the impression that she would only be dating Kai, and this is going to become another pattern of Onision and Kai's. When she visited, she felt obligated to include Greg in the first time she had sex to please Kai. So basically, Kai implied that he would be happier if Onision was in the room when they had sex for the first time. And it basically turned into, like, the first time that Kai and his new girlfriend, Billy, had sex, Greg was in the corner, like, instructing them what to do. Kind of, like, imposing himself on their sex life. And the only reason that Billy agreed to it is because that's what he thought Kai wanted.
Yeah.
That kind of strange, pressured, like, three-way, like, it was a common theme. Like, that almost happened every time they had sex. Like, Greg wanted to be included. And again, when she went out there, she had no clue that she would be dating Greg and Kai. But now, like, he's trying to force it into this strange three-way thing.
Yeah.
November 16th. Now 16-year-old Sarah moves in with Kai and Greg. This is a more permanent move-in. She comes from a very neglectful home. Her parents signed power of attorney over to Greg and Kai.
Oh, Jesus.
What
parent in their right mind would do that?
I know lots of parents that would do that, unfortunately. It just has to be the proper set of circumstances.
Yeah. So just to give you an idea of what, like, neglectful piece of shit parents she had, like, she was between a rock and a hard place. It was abuse wherever she chose to live. So, yeah, her parents signed power of attorney over to Greg and Kai, making Greg and Kai Sarah's legal guardians. Late 2016, Billy moves into the house with her friend Alia, and Alia is hired as another live-in maid. Later on, like, it comes out when interviews between them. Again, like, Chris Hansen interviewing Billy and interviewing Alia, that they were obligated to be like live-in maids for Greg. That Greg did very little housework and wouldn't do much to care for the children. And there's 2 children at this point, because Kai has given birth to another child.
I forgot there was children.
Yep. And, there's children going throughout this whole thing. And Greg is also posting, like, personal details about the children, too. And, like, Greg and Kai... Oh, and this is something that Billy witnesses. So at this time, a young Sarah has now moved in with them.
Oh, no.
She has a hard home life and an abusive home, so she jumps in between that abusive home and Onision and Kai's home over and over again throughout the years. And this is a time when she was living with them. And Billy witnesses a kind of like, oh, when she turns 18, wink, wink joke between Kai and Onision.
So Sarah, let me just back up a minute, who was on our program a few weeks ago, was also lured, enticed, groomed online at a young age, and then brought out by Greg and Kai to the home in Washington. She was 16 or so at the time, and they actually sought and got guardianship of her. And ultimately, she got into a relationship with Greg and Kai.
Yeah.
So she's in this circle. So you're there, Billy's there, Sarah's there, Kai/Laney is there. You've got one child. Kai is pregnant at the time with their second child?
Yes, Kai was pregnant whenever I was there.
And you've got Onision and Greg there. What kind of a household is this?
It was definitely very weird because like we were all so young. Even Kai compared to Greg is super.
You were 18 at the time, is that right?
I had just turned 19 about a month.
Just turned 19, and Billy's the same age as you.
Yes. Billy was 18.
And you found yourself isolated in this house.
Yeah, which was definitely intimidating because like the dynamic of the house was very weird. Like in the conversations, Greg would always like try to sort of point them in the direction he wanted them to go, or sort of like twist your words to like essentially make it seem like you were saying something else than what you were actually trying to say. So I definitely realized like pretty early on that he like used a lot of manipulation tactics, even just in his everyday conversations. So I tried to be pretty careful about the stuff that I said to him.
Give me an example. Would you all be sitting around, for instance, maybe playing video games, and then there would be a conversation, and was he trying to lure everybody into some sort of sex act, or how did that go?
So he would kind of just say more like suggestive things, or things that he would consider jokes, just like about, they were like things that were kind of provocative. But like if you ever called it out or like called him out on it, he was just like, oh, like I was just kidding, like essentially trying to play it off like he wasn't being like very suggestive in his wording.
Was he hitting on you?
Yeah, I don't think he wasn't ever directly hitting on me. I think the biggest thing that I would ever consider like the most direct thing is once I had said something about the fact that his relationship was a triangle, and he was like, oh no, it's really a square. And at the time I didn't really
you were the fourth corner of it.
Yeah. Well, see, at the time I didn't realize if he was talking about me or if he was talking about Sarah, because there were only, two other girls there. And I really didn't say anything about it whenever he said it, because I didn't know if he was joking or if he, meant it was me. And I obviously was there with my best friend who they're in a relationship with. So I was just like essentially just backed away. I just left the room when he said that to me.
Now, little Sarah is living in the house at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're manipulating her as well.
Yeah. They definitely, with Billy and Sarah, they would have them like caring for their kids and cleaning things, and essentially using them as like their, what's it called? Their maid or their nanny and all of those things. But they would, if they didn't do those things, like if Sarah was not watching the kids up to par, like they would threaten to send her home, or they would, just like threaten little things, like take things away from her. So if she didn't like take care of their kids, then she would be punished or threatened to have something bad happen.
Billy is asked to sign a relationship agreement with Greg and Kai with restrictions on her behavior, including no drug use. Several things are observed by Elia and Billy when they were living there. Greg would comment on then 16-year-old Sarah's body, a la saying things like, oh, that booty, though. Like little playful hitting on a 16-year-old kind of thing. This is now, now 30-year-old Greg. Oh, almost done. Kai would break down crying, once saying he didn't know how his daughter would be safe with how Greg treats women. So at one point, Kai breaks down, like her resolve fades, and that like shield she puts up for Greg crumbles, and to Billy she admits, "I'm worried about how Onision is going to treat my daughter because of how he views women."
I mean, at least she had that moment, right?
Yeah, it was a moment of realization, kind of a moment of clarity. Yeah.
Probably one that she had been fighting against for a very long time.
Yeah. Late 2016, Greg convinces Billy to have sex with him without Kai present. They had an agreement within this relationship agreement that they would always have sex, all three of them together. He manipulates her into having sex separately, and then he holds that over her head, saying, "Well, now I have this thing I can tell on you with Kai. I can tell Kai that you cheated on him with me, so I can manipulate you whenever I want," kind of thing. Yeah. Early December 2016, Billy goes crying, feeling coerced to Alia immediately after. So they immediately have this sex with Greg that she felt pressured into, and immediately after she fucks is raped by Greg, she goes to her friend crying. Billy and Alia try to flee shortly after in the night, but are caught and stopped by Greg. They eventually sneak away anyway when they pretend to go back to bed and sneak out a second time. December 22nd, Billy moves back in with Greg and Kai after they promise to change. January 11th, 2017, Greg announces that her and Kai have dumped Billy. They cite that she admitted to smoking weed with a friend outside of their house, and that was against the relationship agreement, that she is dumped. She makes a video describing what Greg wants her to do, because at this point, Greg served her an ultimatum, you can do these things and I'll take you back, and you have to choose one of these 4 things. You have to shave your head and get a bad tan. You have to be chained in the basement for 7 days. You have to get "I am a liar" stamped above, as a tramp stamp tattoo. Or you have to make a video about how much she misses Kai and beg for him back and put it out to public. And again, this is another person with their own following, their own YouTube, all that stuff.
So, Onision, please stop harassing me and my best friend. I am tired of seeing your tweets, tired of being tagged in your tweets, of you just harassing us, telling us we're awful, druggy people. Please leave me alone. Stop talking about me. Don't speak about me in your videos. I'm done. I hope you're happy. You completely destroyed all of my pride. You told me to get a tattoo saying "I'm a liar," like a tramp stamp. You told me to shave my head. You told me to dye my hair green, shave off my eyebrows, and get an ugly tan. Is that not abusive to you? Do you think that's a fair trade for me telling you that I smoked weed? That's what you think is okay? I betrayed your trust? You fucking betrayed my trust. You told everyone secrets about me. Fucking everyone. What the fuck is wrong with you? You wanted to chain me up in your basement.
2018. Sarah moves in and out between toxic family and home and Greg and Kai's home. Onision starts a Patreon and starts to make additional thousands more. On top of his YouTube views, on top of his YouTube pay, he begins to make thousands and thousands of dollars more. And he begins to use this Patreon as an insular little community. So he doesn't care what the outside world thinks, as long as he controls opinions inside this community. And just to let you know, how much control he had, and how much he craved that control, he had a $500 patron, somebody who paid them $500 a month.
Wow.
And he caught them making a semi-critical comment, in one of his chat rooms, and he canceled their Patreon and kicked them out of the community.
What?
That's how much he craved control and craved get in line, don't criticize me.
We must find that person and tell them all about OVPod and insist that they subscribe to our Patreon. Because, we're way better than this Onision guy anyway.
We'll even let him have that pledge too, $250 a month, probably pretty good.
Yeah. I would take a $250 pledge.
$250 would be nice.
That's fine. Yeah, and we're better than that. We won't kick you out of our community if you're a decent person.
We'll probably agree if you say that something stupid happened.
Yeah,
probably
exactly.
did.
We do a lot of bullshit in this studio.
Lots of bullshit.
Yeah. So late 2017 November, Sarah is kicked out of the house. when she confronts Greg about his sexual comments. So Sarah's now 17 years old. She finally confronts him about him making occasional like perverted comments about her, and he kicks her out of the house. December 2017, after many unanswered emails, Greg uploads a video of Sky's little sister modeling photos and titles it Body Positivity Areolas. And he basically used it as a platform to say, hey, this is my ex's little sister. Look, her areolas are sticking out through her clothes. And that's body positivity. Like, he tried to swing it in this, like, progressive, happy way, like this embracing way, when it was really like, I want you to know that I'm looking at you. Like, that whole thing.
That's creepy as fuck.
Oh, yeah. December 23rd, 2017, another girl, 18-year-old Maya, is flown out under the misconception of dating only Kai. Greg immediately starts pressuring her into a three-way relationship, eventually presses her against a wall and forcefully kisses her. This is all on the first day that he meets her. December 24th, they take Maya to a Christmas party. Greg pressures Maya to interact or be more intimate with him and Kai at the party. This is like the day after they have met them. They're saying, hey, you have to show some PDA at the party and all that to show that we're together.
Yuck.
Yep. December 25th, Christmas. Onision approaches Maya about being in a three-way relationship, presents it as an ultimatum. She says no. Greg screams at her for 30 minutes before kicking her out of the house. December 26th, Maya returns home. So 3 days she lasted. 2018, January. Greg neglects his family and friends that he was supposed to be babysitting. So this is known as Diapergate. Basically, he was supposed to be babysitting a kid for a period of 10 hours, and that kid like shit in his diaper, and he let that kid sit in the diaper all day until the kid got rashes so bad that they opened up and started bleeding.
That would work, yeah.
Yep. February, he releases his third novel describing graphics. Yeah, he's written 3 books. And in that novel, he describes graphic scenes of sex between children, an 11-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl, and a 14-year-old boy and an 18-year-old girl. And he portrays them as like victorious things, like these kids are awakened and blessed by these older people. April 23rd, Kai sends nudes to now 23-year-old Kai sends nudes to now 17-year-old Sarah. They are observed cuddling together in bed. They would later deny cuddling together in bed, even though like pictures of it exist all over. There's points where people kind of like just start denying reality in this story. Mm-hmm. Sarah, over the phone, is convinced to move back in, and she eventually caves and agrees. Again, like this is her moving back in. She kind of like endures the abuse where she's living until she leaves again, and just a constant cycle of her struggling to find someplace. Sarah turns 18 in August 2018, and as her birthday approaches, Greg and Kai start innuendo and sexually charged jokes. Mm-hmm. January 9th, Greg pressures Sarah to deny grooming allegations. He basically gives her a script and has her lie to the camera. Later in an interview, she confirms this, that he was basically sitting right behind the camera telling her what to say, saying to deny that they were ever cuddling, that it was a totally platonic, it's just like a guardian and a kid relationship, etc. January 15th, 2019. Greg posts a video responding to concerns about the relationship with Sarah, making it clear they see it as a parent-child relationship. January 17th. Now 18-year-old Sarah, 24-year-old Kai, and 33-year-old Greg sleep together. So they have groomed this girl for 4 years, from 14 to 18. Not long after she turns 18, they sleep with her, because now it's legal.
Yeah.
Yep. And even if you have power of attorney over someone, because, of course, Greg consulted a lawyer, even if you have power of attorney over someone, if you wait until they're 18, it's now legal to sleep with someone. Yeah,
Who the fuck is this lawyer that keeps saying, oh, yes, Mr. Whatever your fucking name is, I will continue to answer your oddly specific questions about sex laws?
He's the one that let R. Kelly marry that very underage gal.
Yeah.
Aaliyah. Yeah, Aaliyah.
So soon after he and Sarah and Kyle have sex, he makes Sarah sign an NDA. The NDA is toothless because he just got one from Google and didn't actually have an actual lawyer make it up. But, to somebody that doesn't know better, somebody who's, doesn't know the legal system, that doesn't know a fake legal document from a real one, saying, if you speak against us or tell anything against us, we can sue you and take, that, just the pressure of that fake document existing can be enough to keep some people quiet. There's lawyers that send out, toothless cease and desists all the time just to scare people into stopping their actions. April 2019. So the whole family legally changes their name after the heat of this Sarah controversy starts to come up. People start criticizing, start keeping track of the timeline and start seeing that the grooming was happening. So people started noticing, and they all changed their names, and they say they'll keep the stuff with their children private. In May, an ex-patron of Kai's who became a friend of his releases a Twitter thread of private vent sessions she has had with Kai, where Kai basically describes how Greg abuses him. So this ex-patron gets regular Snapchats from Kai of him crying as Greg screams in the background at him. Kai is unable to contact friends and family without Greg's permission or knowledge. Greg constantly attacks Kai's parental skills, implies that he is a terrible parent and that he's going to ruin the child. And Onision, Greg does no chores, dishes, laundry, doesn't do any housework, doesn't help with the kids, doesn't do anything to help him. And when things are dirty, he just immediately starts blaming Kai and putting that pressure back upon him. June, July, Greg, Kai, and Sarah have sex as soon as she arrives to visit. So sex starts to become a regular thing between them. As soon as she starts to feel used and a sex object, she feels used and moves out. She continues the cycle, moves back in, and sleeps with Greg while Kai is using one of his 2 family visits to visit family. He pulls the same shit where he says, well, now you've cheated with me, so now I can hold this over your head. He does that same thing. I got something I can tell on you for. July 23rd, after refusing a request confronting Greg breaks up with Sarah and she leaves. So Sarah confronts Greg about all the shit and about the grooming and all that, and he breaks up with her and leaves. Greg immediately releases a video saying Greg is a crazy liar because she has borderline personality disorder. That's the thing. Greg will use mental illness to defend himself when it benefits him, and he'll use it to demonize other people when it benefits him.
He said that Greg made a video about Greg.
Oh, sorry. Greg made a video about Sarah, saying that because Sarah has borderline personality disorder, you can't believe anything she says, because borderline personality makes people into liars that make up stories.
That's nonsense.
Yeah. Shit hits the fan. Aliyah accuses Greg and Sarah of having sex. Sarah corroborates. Sarah holds a live stream where much is revealed. It's revealed that Kai was also an active participant and partner in grooming. Sarah may have been a bargaining chip for Kai to receive top surgery. Basically, it's implied that Greg said, if you get me Sarah, if you help me groom Sarah, then I'll help you get top surgery. Oh. Yes. And then he didn't allow him to get top surgery anyways. They flew many girls in to fuck them while Sarah was there. So Sarah saw many girls coming and going. So that, who knows how many other people that are out there that haven't come forward yet. She said she observed a constant stream of girls coming in and out. Things explode. Sky, Shiloh, Billy, Alicia, Regina, Haley all collaborate and put coordinated accusations with receipts about the Greg did to them. They had screenshots, they had conversations, they had video proof, they had and people have been documenting Onision's abuse for years. I remember in 2012 there being Tumblr pages that tracked this, but nobody really started paying attention to it until Chris Hansen came in. And that's where he comes in. It gets the attention of Chris Hansen, that To Catch a Predator guy. And To Catch a Predator is a show where they lure in pedophiles with fake child profiles, And when they come to meet the child, they're instead met with police that arrest them. And there's a bunch of episodes. It's all on YouTube.
And on a crisp autumn day, Manzi arrives at the Sting House.
Hello? Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Found the house okay?
Yes, I did. Sorry I'm being like a little
No, it's alright.
weird.
This is like weird.
Well, it's not so much that it's weird, it's well, you mind if I just like look around?
Oh, go for it.
You okay?
I don't know.
What Manzi doesn't know is that I am waiting for him right behind that curtain. Mike Manzi is a math tutor. A smart guy who suspected something seemed weird in our Sting House.
You mind if I just like look around?
Oh, go for it.
You okay?
But he never calculated that I would be the one behind the curtain.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Good.
Why don't you have a seat right on that stool, please?
Sure.
No, right here, sir.
No, I know.
Please, right there. Right, sir. Sit, please. Okay. I need to talk to you.
Well,
what are you doing here today?
Well, I'm here because I was slightly concerned.
Concerned about what?
Well, concerned because she's talking to people that are a lot younger, a lot older on the website.
Now, why were you so concerned about a 13-year-old girl?
Well, she's talking to other people that are obviously the same age as me.
And how old are you?
I'm 32.
You're 32?
Yes.
So you came over to make sure she was okay?
Well, I came over just to make sure that
everything was fine.
Everything was okay. I was not.
So you were going to search the house just now to make sure what?
Well,
that's what here?
Well, I mean, I don't know. She could come. She could be here with a group of people, for all I know, and she obviously was. I mean, don't you think? Don't you think that would be like a safe idea?
What was today's lesson supposed to be?
Today's lesson from
Today's lesson from you.
Today's lesson from me was to not, unfortunately, really worry about other people.
You see how this looks?
I know how it looks. I'm very sorry. May I please leave?
Math tutor Mike Manzi's number is up. He thought he was going to spend the day smoking pot with a 13-year-old girl, but instead he's spending it with me and the police.
He starts to do his thing. Like Onision or Chris Hansen is an interviewer, so he starts to interview all Onision's past victims. And he starts to collect a profile on Onision. Billy is interviewed, and as a response, Greg shows a personal out-of-context text between him and her on his Twitter. He doxes her in the process. Basically, he posts screenshots of the conversation they have, and he left her phone number in it, so he left it up to his fan to attack her. Patreon notices this. Patreon has a rule against doxing on any platform. If you catch any of our creators doxing, tell us and we'll remove them from the platform. We don't want to support that shit. Patreon deletes Greg's video, or Greg's Patreon page, and Greg loses that source of income. And this is after the YouTube adpocalypse. So at one point, YouTube was very lucrative, and then advertisers started being picky and choosy about what videos they wanted. They wanted very family-friendly videos to put advertisers on. So before YouTube was super good money. Afterwards, not so good. So Greg was making less money, and now he lost his Patreon, which was another source of income.
Wow. So you guys are so into yourselves, like you are so committed to censoring innocent people that you're just gonna go and try to get my Patreon deleted now. Oh, you have an opinion of me, so you're just gonna try and ruin my entire career. Really? Is that what you're going to do? Oh, I'm sorry, the FBI never showed up. Oh, I'm sorry, the cops are all about Onion Boy because turns out didn't break a single law. So what do we do? Oh, well, our opinions have been invalidated so many times of him that we're gonna disable his Patreon. Wow, you would really do that. You would really do that! You tried to do the FBI, didn't work. You tried to do the police, didn't work.
So instead, you resort to the paycheck. And you got it! You got it! All my patrons have been deleted. Are you happy? No!
January 13th of this year, Chris Hansen consults with the FBI, and they team up and visit Greg's home. So basically, Chris Hansen does his Chris Hansen thing. If you ever seen him, like, the whole take a seat here thing, he wanted to interview Greg about being a child groomer and a child predator. He wanted to ask those same questions. He wanted to confront him with papers. Greg from inside his house calls 911. And the 911 call is you have to laugh at it, because at one point the 911 operator is like, "Oh, okay, and who's stalking you, sir?" Chris Hansen, and you can see like a little like, "Okay, sir," like a little moment of realization in the 911 operator's voice, and I'll put that clip right here.
911, what are you reporting?
Hi, there's a person who's been stalking me online, and they just showed up to my house.
Okay, and they're outside now?
Yes, they're knocking on my door.
Okay. And do you know if they have any weapons?
They have a bunch of camera people, like they're YouTube stalkers.
As you watch this, it's important to remember that all the camera crews, sound guys, and attorney Mike Morris stayed on the street when I went up to knock on James Jackson, Gregory Jackson, Onision's door to see if he would talk to me. I've been doing this for some 40 years. I didn't get into YouTube to start journalism, but I did take my brand of journalism to YouTube to expose alleged predators.
Okay, but no weapons seen?
I didn't see any weapons. I just saw like 6 guys in my driveway, and one of them is knocking on my door.
Okay, 1 second here. And the one that's knocking on your door, is he the main one that you said has been stalking you?
Yes, he's a stalker. He's yelling things at me through the door right now.
Okay, and do we know his name at all?
It's Chris Hansen.
Okay, Hansen?
Hansen, yeah. Hansen.
And then Chris?
Chris, yeah.
Okay, is he white, black, Asian, Hispanic?
He's white. He's wearing a black jacket, black pants. His hair is gray. He's still yelling things at me through the door.
Greg, are you there? Kai? This would be a great opportunity for you guys to tell your side of the story here, talk about the controversy, the allegations. The allegations of grooming, the inappropriate behavior allegations.
Can you hear what he's yelling?
Oh, he's saying, "I want your side of the story, Greg." My name's not even Greg.
Okay. What is your last name?
My name is James Jackson.
Okay. Last of Jackson, first of James is what I heard. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's saying, "I just want to talk" through the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any weapons in the home, James?
No, I don't.
Okay. And you said that there's roughly 5 more people there with cameras?
Yes, in the driveway.
Okay. 1 second here. And do you know what he's talking about, like why he was stalking you or anything like that?
Yeah, there's like it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the driveway.
Okay.
But I have someone that there's an 18, no, I think they're 19, a 19-year-old who I didn't want to hang out with. I didn't want to be around them. They have BPD, and their stuff was, their mental disorder was like really affecting my life in a negative way. And so I said I didn't want them in my life anymore. And they went to this person and said a bunch of mean things about me. And so now this person's trying to like aggressively pursue me in a really hateful way as a result.
Okay, so you said they're from YouTube though. So is it like a show that they do, or?
It's a live stream. Yeah, I've already talked to a lawyer about slander and stuff. This guy's really, really hateful towards me.
Okay. And are you able to see what type of vehicle they arrived in?
No, they parked way down the street, which is really sketchy.
Okay.
They're standing out next to my SUV right now.
Okay. We're working on getting units out there as quickly as we can. Just go ahead and keep your doors locked. Do you feel comfortable disconnecting the line until we arrive? And then if anything changes, calling us back?
It should be fine. We're just hiding away from the windows.
Okay. If anything changes before we arrive, please call us back, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
January 14th, 2020. Greg fakes a mental breakdown in a series of videos to garner sympathy. This is just one of many breakdowns he's faked throughout the years. Whenever he gets into a really tough spot with his critics, he fakes a breakdown to garner sympathy, and he pretends to be homeless. He garners up fake divorce papers to claim that Kai has divorced him. He shows himself living in a tent and saying, like, I live in a tent now. Do you feel bad enough for me yet? And then, like, a week later, he appears back in his house saying that that was all an act. And he does the same thing. If anybody in his community like calls him on it and say, hey, what was that bullshit about lying about you being homeless? He'll kick him out.
Yeah.
Because in order to stay in line, in order to stay one of Greg's top fans, you have to fall in line. As far as I can tell, I don't think that Onision is going to jail. He has skirted the law, or at least not left proof of his wrongdoings. Has not left enough evidence for the police to pursue him. At least not what's been revealed. I mean, maybe the FBI has found stuff that I'm not aware of, and that's very possible. Maybe they've collected stuff that, like, the people scouring his history throughout the years hasn't found. The person going to jail is probably going to be Kai. He exchanged child pornography. He was caught topless, like with a teenager. Like, he is probably going to be the one going to jail, and Greg is probably going to be able to walk away scot-free. And, like, I'm going to predict right now, when Kai goes to jail, Greg's just going to use that for more sympathy. My husband got arrested, and move on to his next victim.
Yeah.
But, fingers crossed.
We need Olivia Benson on the case.
Yeah.
She can solve this.
Yeah.
She put him away.
I don't know. Any final thoughts from anybody?
I'm very tired.
That was a slog.
That was hard. It's hard to listen to.
Yeah.
Not because of the production or anything, just because of
That
fucking
is
Onision.
so much information
bad.
that is so heartbreaking.
You want to see something else too, real quick? Real quick.
Yeah.
This is from a pro Onision board.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they have to track all of his relationships. The triangles are where he gets married and who he gets married to. The dots and lines are the timelines that he was in relationships with different people.
Mm-hmm.
And even the ones like that little M over there. That's that Maya one.
Okay.
Who was the one that was there for 3 days.
Yeah.
And the fans of Onision have tracked her as a relationship already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
how do we make stupid people famous? Like, it seems to be an inherent design flaw.
I don't know. Like that fucker George Zimmerman, he keeps popping up.
Yes.
Oh my god.
People keep on giving him millions of dollars.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
I can't even start to
but let's
notch at that topic yet.
Yeah, but let's wrap this shit up.
We lost Sage.
Yeah. For Occultae Veritatis podcast. Sorry, I'm Mood Gallifrey.
Sage!
Richard Bigley.
And in studio with us,
Arthur Tallis.
Lady Mercury.
And Valhalla.
Okay. Have a wonderful night. I'm going to put a real happy song at the end here to cheer you up. I'm not going to be able to heal everything, but maybe I can comfort you a little bit.
Please do.
Love you, bye!
Bye-bye. And playing us out this episode is Helen Kane with her song Abba Dabba Honeymoon. Thank you, and see you in the after show. I just have a bit more complaining to do about Onision.
A voodoo lad, a voodoo lad, a voodoo lad, a voodoo lad, a voodoo. Abba dabba 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 said the chimpy to the monk. Dabba 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 said the monkey to the chimp. chimpanzee. She loved a monkey with a long tail, and Lordy, how she loved him. Each night he would find her there swinging in a coconut tree. And the monkey gay at the break of day loved to hear his chimpy say, "Abba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba," said the chimpy to the monk. "Dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba," said the monkey to the chimp. All night long they chatted away. All day long they were happy and gay, swinging and singing in a hunky-tonky way. Abba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba-dabba means monk, I love what you. Dabba-dabba-dab in monkey talks means chimp, I love you too. One night they were made man and wife, and now they cry, this is the life, since they came back from their abba-dabba honey. Abba-dabba-dabba. Abba-dabba
I mean, let's face it. Facts are facts here. It seems like, as far as I can find, Onision has done nothing that can be proven, like, with evidence. It seems he's been careful enough to just skirt the law to make sure he doesn't get in trouble. And what has he been up to? What update do I have for you? He's been cooped inside of his house, making hours-long live streams, repeating the same excuses he has for years. All these controversies we spoke about over these 3 episodes, he has a stacked line of responses to them. Whenever somebody comes up to him with one of these things, he has already planned out what he's going to say. I hope the FBI finds something, or whatever organizations are looking into him, I hope they find something. Maybe they won't. Maybe he truly has been perfectly careful. Maybe he's the type of immoral person that is smart enough to evade capture. He knows enough to manipulate the system to get what he wants, to abuse who he wants, without getting caught. Or maybe he's been sloppy. Maybe he left something behind. You know, investigations take a long time. Sometimes you have to coordinate multiple agencies within government, get things signed, get things approved, talk to judges, talk to lawyers, talk to attorneys, get things organized. And let's not forget here, we're in the midst of a global pandemic. Investigations take a long time, with how fucked up and incompetent the justice system is, this thing could be falling through the cracks anyhow. But there's a glimmering hope that maybe somebody's on the case that is looking into something, that finds something that all the other people that have been talking about Onision for years haven't found yet. You know, a piece of evidence where he's been sloppy, where he did something illegal, where he can finally be brought to justice and can be taken away from being able to influence these young people into doing what he wants. Hopefully ending the cycle of abuse. It's likely that Kai is going to jail. He was caught doing inappropriate things with people underage when he was overage, and there is, at least speculation-wise, a paper trail behind that. If these chat logs exist, like the people in the interview say they exist, I mean, that's the proof you need. You know, distributing child pornography, that's something that Kai could go to jail for. Yeah, but I'm not sure if Onision will be brought to justice. And just to leave you with something sour in your mouth, here's a video of his that didn't age really well. Sometimes there's truth in art. Sometimes.
Your 50-year-old dad is into 18-year-olds, okay? Your mom is into 18-year-olds. Your grandpa is into 18-year-olds. Your grandma is into 18-year-olds. People who are primed and ready for consensual legal reproduction, yup. Age is just a number, like a room is just a prison cell. Leave a single man, any man on earth who is straight, alone in a room with an attractive 18-year-old who wants him, is consensually into him. You tell me what happens!
Because I know what happens anyway!
From Occultae Veritatis, Abanud Gallifrey. Wash your fucking hands. I love you. Take lots of naps.